2017. The Berlin Wall still stands, not as a monument, not as a memory, as a border. The world believed the wall would fall. In this archive, it never did. A towering concrete barrier still cuts the city in half, but over time, something else replaced it. Paranoia. Inside this country, 1 out of every 60 citizens once worked for the secret police. Neighbors informed on neighbors. Teachers reported students. Even husbands reported wives. In some apartment buildings, no one knew which door was safe to knock on. The real barrier was never the wall. It was paranoia. When trust disappears, people stop speaking freely. And when people stop speaking freely, they stop resisting. The government did not just build a wall across the city. It built a system that watched everyone inside it. And over time, that system achieved something terrifying. People stopped trying to leave. Archive 787A has been reopened. This alternate history civilization collapsed, not from invasion, not from war, but from the quiet perfection of control. The wall was never meant to last, but in this archive, the moment that should have ended it never happened, and the change that saved the wall started quietly. Berlin, 1989, night. Thousands gather outside the Bornholmer Straße checkpoint. Word has spread across East Berlin. The border is opening. People press toward the gate. Open it! Guards shout for the crowd to move back. But the crowd keeps growing. More people arrive. Hundreds. Then thousands press against the gate. Inside the checkpoint office, a border commander waits beside a telephone. The line to Berlin Command stays silent. Outside, the chanting grows louder. Open the gate! Some climb the barriers, others push forward. Floodlights snap on. Rifles appear along the fence. For a moment, it looks like the wall might fall tonight. Inside the office, the telephone finally rings. The commander answers, listens, says nothing. In our world, this was the moment the gates opened. But in this archive, the order is different. The border remains closed. Water cannons surge forward. Troops reinforce the checkpoint. The crowd breaks apart beneath the lights. And that night, the Berlin Wall survives its most dangerous moment. Across the city, inside a Stasi monitoring office, radios crackle with reports from the checkpoint. Crowds at Bornholmer Straße, thousands. Water cannons deployed. Troops reinforcing the border. The room is silent except for the radio. An officer lowers the volume. Another walks to a monitoring board mounted on the wall. He tallies the data. No one in the room celebrates. They understand what almost happened. The wall only survives as long as people believe it cannot fall. Morning, East Berlin. Factory sirens echo across the city. Workers move through the streets in silence. Among them, Matthias Keller, an electrical engineer. Every morning he walks the same route to work, past concrete, past guard towers, past the same stretch of wall dividing the city. At home, Anna pours coffee into 2 chipped cups. Their son Lucas stands on a chair beside the window, watching the searchlights sweep across the barrier. To him, it looks like a fortress. One evening, Lucas places a drawing on the kitchen table. Berlin, buildings and streets. And across the center of the page, a thick gray wall splitting the city in half. Matthias studies the drawing. He reflects on the last few years, and they weigh heavily on him. Travel permits begin appearing. Limited visits west. Families briefly reunited. Factories reopen. Cafes fill again. People whisper the same question: is the border opening? Several years pass, and slowly, the wall begins to feel temporary. But permanent relocation remains forbidden. The regime opened movement just enough to ease pressure, not enough to let people leave. Denied permit applications quietly spread through apartment buildings. Neighbors see who was rejected. Soon others stop applying, not because they stopped wanting freedom, because they realized someone was always watching. On the kitchen table, a forged passport rests beside a train ticket, a tunnel map, and Lucas's drawing of Berlin, the wall splitting the page in half. Tonight is the escape. The phone rings. Matthias answers. A promotion, a larger apartment, travel arrangements, but only if he agrees to cross the border to the west. That night, the tunnel team waits, but Matthias Keller never arrives. His paranoia would not let him embrace a better life. He chose security over freedom. This was the true cost of the wall. Inside the monitoring office, the board updates again. Years pass. The watchtower's empty. Searchlights disappear. The border patrols fade away. The wall still stands. Decades later, the apartment is quiet. Lucas stands at the same window. The wall still cuts across the city, but the searchlights are gone. The towers are empty. The barrier remains, unchallenged. Behind him, Matthias Keller watches in silence. A government built a wall not to keep enemies out, but to keep its own people in. And eventually, it didn't even need the wall. This record has been sealed. The world you live in still struggles with trust and paranoia. There is another record in this archive, Archive 783A, a world where the Second World War never arrived, where regimes history was supposed to defeat remained in power. If you wish to examine that world, Archive 783A remains open.